Three men once arrived at the pearly gates and were being questioned by St. Peter. The first man said, "I've never been unfaithful to my wife." St. Peter smiled and said, "Well done, good and faithful servant. I'm assigning you a mansion and a Mercedes-Benz." The second man said, "I've been unfaithful only once." St. Peter replied, "Very well. You'll have a 2-story house and a BMW." The third man admitted, "I've been unfaithful twice." St. Peter said, "In that case, you'll receive a 1-door apartment and a Honda CR-V." So they each received their rewards and went off in the different directions. After a while, the second and third men noticed the first man sitting by the roadside, looking very sad and distraught. They stopped and asked him, "Why are you sad? You got the best reward among all of us, Mercedes-Benz and a mansion." The man groaned and said, "How can I be happy? I just saw my wife near the gate and she was riding on a skateboard." It is a funny story and it makes us laugh, but it also makes us think about heaven in a very human way. Sometimes we imagine heaven almost like an extension of our earthly life. Houses, cars, rewards, comparisons. And in the same way, when we celebrate the ascension of Jesus, we might imagine it very simply. Jesus going up into the sky as if heaven were just a place somewhere far above us. In the first reading from Acts, or the Acts of the Apostles, the disciples actually witnessed this moment. Jesus was lifted up, and a cloud took him from their sight. You can almost picture them standing there, staring into the sky, wondering what just happened. And then the angels asked them, "Why are you standing there looking at the sky?" It is a gentle correction, almost like saying, "Don't misunderstand what just happened." Because the ascension is not about Jesus going to a place far away. It is not about distance. It is about a new kind of presence. In the Gospel from Matthew, Jesus gives his final command: "Go, therefore, and make disciples of all nations." And then he makes a promise that changes everything. "I am with you always, until the end of the age." Notice the tension. He's ascending, and yet he says, "I am with you always." How can both be true? This is where our faith becomes deeply personal. Jesus is no longer physically visible, but he is more present than ever. Not limited to one place, not limited to one time or one group of people. Through his ascension, he is present everywhere, in every heart that is open to him. In the second reading, St. Paul prays that the eyes of our hearts may be enlightened, so that we may know the hope of our calling and the greatness of God's power. The ascension is not something we understand only with our minds. It is something we begin to see with the eyes of the heart. And what do we begin to see? That Jesus is present in our daily lives in ways we often overlook. He is present in the quiet strength we find when we feel like giving up. He is present in the kindness of someone who listens to us when we are struggling. And it could be your parents, your spouse, or even some of your friends. He is present in the courage to forgive, even when it is difficult. He is present in the small, unnoticed acts of love we offer each day. But Ascension Sunday is not only about recognizing His presence, it is also about accepting our mission. Go, Jesus says. Not wait, not stay comfortable, not watch from a distance, but go. This can feel overwhelming. We might think I'm not ready. We might say I don't know enough. Or what difference can I make? Those are valid questions. But the disciples felt the same way. They were not perfect. In fact, the gospel tells us that even as they worship Him, some doubted. And yet Jesus still sent them. They trust them. Or He trusts them, which means this: the mission is not perfect people. It is for willing people. In your daily life, going does not always mean traveling far. It means living your faith where you are. It means being patient with your family when it is hard. It means choosing honesty and faithful in your work. It means reaching out to someone who feels alone. It means standing for what is right, even when it is unpopular. Every small act of love becomes a way of proclaiming the gospel. And here is the beautiful truth. We are not sent alone. He said, I am with you always. That is the promise we hold on to when life becomes difficult, when prayers seem unanswered, when feel distant from God. He has not left us. He walks with us, invisible but real, silent but active, hidden but present. Now let me leave you with this story. There was a teacher who had to leave her class for a new assignment. On her last day, her students were sad. One of them asked, "Who will teach us now? Who will help us like you did?" The teacher smiled and said, "Everything I have taught you, carry it in your hearts. And now you will teach others." Years later, one of those students became a teacher himself. When asked what inspired him, he said, "My teacher didn't just teach me lessons. She believed in me. Even when she was gone, her presence stayed with me through the way I lived." That is what the Ascension is like. Jesus entrusts His mission to us, not because we are capable on our own, but because He believes in us and remains with us. So today, we do not stand looking at the sky. We move forward with faith. We carry His love into the world. We become His presence for others, and we trust in His promise, "I am with you always."